of submitting the information in Company Exhibit 1E.
It appears that in this modification that you're referencing, quote, the shadow flicker report that was prepared for the December 2018 application submittal was updated to reflect the new, smaller V136 turbine model.
Now, does this information updating the shadow flicker for this turbine model replace the shadow flicker study submitted with the December 26, 2018 amended application, or does it supplement it?
As stated in this, the very same quote I just read out, it was updated.
Okay, and I need to figure out what that updated means. Does that mean that Republic Wind is still relying on the information in the shadow flicker report that was submitted with its amended application on December 26, 2018?
Given those turbine models proposed in that filing are still under consideration for this project, we are still in part relying on that study. The V136 was not included with those turbines in the December 26th, 27th filing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this shadow flicker update had to occur to ensure that we reflected the impacts of this new proposed turbine model.
So only this turbine model, which the Vestas 136, was modeled in the shadow flicker report that's included in Company Exhibit 1E. Is that correct?
In light of the summary, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. But Republic Wind does not intend to install the Vestas 136 model at all of its turbine locations, right?
Referenced in this very same document, if you can turn back one page to the cover sheet essentially. This is the second paragraph in. Quote, the use of the V136 will be limited to no more than 10 locations, end quote.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're on the second page of Company Exhibit 1E, correct?
This appears to be the first page of Exhibit 1E.
Okay. Yeah, I see that my copy taken off the website has a cover letter attached to it, so that may account for the difference. The page that you're looking at has a number 1 at the bottom, and at the top it's entitled Notice of Project Modifications and Information Update, correct?
I don't see one at the bottom, however, I do see bolded text that says RE:(Republic Wind LLC, case number 172295 LBGN, notice of project modifications and project information.
If you just flip to the next page, I think he's referring to the next page.
Okay, so this would be essentially the second page of this document, but page number 1. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that the record's clear as to what page you're reading from.
I could read once more if you'd like, from now that we have an understanding.
Why don't you just tell me what the title of anything to that page is?
Sure. You'd like that now?
Yeah, just tell me what the title of that on that page is, so we can later identify it from the exhibits in the case.
The page I had quoted, what I had just read, lists the date at the top. It has signature for Bricker and Eckler, and includes the addressee, Ms. Tanawa Troop, administration docketing of the Ohio Power Zoning Board.
And is that the page from which you read the sentence that states the applicant is also the use of the V136 will be limited to no more than 10 locations within the project?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, on page 2 of the document, it should be the page right after the one that you just read from, I hope.
For clarification, Mr. Van Clay, this would be the page with the number 1 appearing at the bottom.
On my copy, the number 2 appears on the bottom, but it may be different than what you're reading.
I think he just wants you to look at the page with the footnote number 2.
Well, I suggest, why don't we have
Yes.
each party compare to make sure we know
I
what we're
agree.
looking at?
Mr. Van Clay, if you could just come show
Sure.
Mr. Carr what page you're looking at, because we've now spent 5 minutes figuring out what page we're on.
And to also confirm that the versions that you're utilizing are the same.
And I think you're using the same version, you're just counting one page versus not.
Yep. Now, you read from this page, right?
What I've read from was this page here.
Oh, okay. The same sentence here. Here's this page. That's fine too. Hey, that works. Then I'm next going to go to page 2, which is right there.
Same document.
Referring you to the top of page 2 of this document, I'd like to refer you to the first full sentence on that page, where it says, the updated analysis predicted that 39 receptors would receive over 30 hours of shadow flicker per year, which is a reduction from 77 receptors predicted to receive over 30 hours per year in the 2008 analysis, EDR 2018. You see that sentence?
To clarify, you had just read 30 hours per year in the 2008 analysis. This was the 2018
Okay.
analysis.
Yeah, I should have read 2018.
I see that, yes.
Okay. So this conclusion that the updated analysis predicted that 39 receptors would receive over 30 hours of shadow flicker per year instead of 77 is based on a model that assumed that all of the turbine locations were using the Vestas 136, correct?
Could I have that reread, Your Honor?
Sure.
Question, okay, so this conclusion that the updated analysis predicted that 39 receptors would receive over 30 hours of shadow flicker per year instead of 77 is based on a model that assumed that all of the turbine locations were using the Vestas 136, correct?
Thank you. It is my general understanding that this figure listed here in the statement you just read is a result of modeling the V136 at all locations. And to my general knowledge, that simplified the work to be done, such that those 10 locations did not need to be selected at this point. Additionally, given once we have a final design with selected turbine or turbines, as quoted here, the applicant will conduct the final pre-construction shadow flicker analysis for compliance filing.
If I could just ask one clarifying question. Each time that you needed to do an updated noise study, do you typically then have a corresponding updated shadow flicker analysis done as well?
My general understanding is that updates would be dependent on what changed. And so if the sound propagation of a certain turbine model was different with an uprate, then that modeling would be updated. In the case, for example, of inclusion of uprates to the B150 and the Nordex N149, that was not the case for shadow flicker. No change to that report.
How do you know that up front without first doing an analysis to see whether or not there would be a need to update the shadow flicker?
So this is given the information from the manufacturer did not change. While the technology, this is again my general understanding, that while the technology inside the generator or the computer system of the generator might be slightly different, and that the power output difference may result in sound output differences. The same is not true for the rotation of the blades or for shadow flicker analysis. We essentially would be working from the manufacturer, by general knowledge.
Turn back to page 1 of Company Exhibit 1E. And I would refer you to Table 1, where you see a title of approximate turbine dimensions by model. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And there are 3 turbine models listed there, correct?
Yes.
And these are 3 models of turbine that are also being considered for the project, correct?
This is correct. As stated in the previous or preceding paragraph, quote, turbine models and dimensions under consideration for the project at the time of the...
Sir, I need you to slow down when you're reading that. So
Sure.
turbine models, please.
Quote, turbine models and dimensions under consideration for the project at the time of certificate application amendment are listed below in Table 1.
And these 3 turbine models were modeled for shadow flicker in the report that was included in the amended application of December 26, 2018, correct?
Yes, these specific turbine models had not appeared previously in the application.
Now, let me ask you this. Are there characteristics of a turbine model that affect how much shadow flicker it casts?
Generally speaking, I would imagine hub height and blade length would be impacts there.
Is blade length also referred to as rotor diameter?
Yes, that would be the combined length of both blades and the diameter of the hub.
So I see that the maximum height of the Nordex N149 is 602 feet. according to table 1, correct?
Yes,
And its rotor diameter is 489 feet, correct?
that's correct.
And then if you look at the data for the Vestas V150 model, you'll see that the total height is 591 feet and the rotor diameter is 492 feet, correct?
That's correct.
So, of the 3 models in table 1, the Nordex N149 is the tallest model at 602 feet, correct?
That's correct.
But the Vestas V150 model has the widest rotor diameter at 492 feet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So if both rotor diameter and height affect the amount of shadow flicker, but one turbine is taller than the other and the opposite turbine is broader in its rotor diameter than the other, then can you tell, based on this information, which one would cast the most shadow flicker?
It's my general understanding that the shadow flicker was prepared to reflect a worst-case scenario. Now, whether it was at the consultant's expertise or at directions from subject matter experts at Apex to include the maximum rotor diameter in addition to the maximum total height as sort of a combination to assess, or if the assessed greatest impact turbine was used, I don't recall. However, it is my general understanding that the worst-case scenario was used in this modeling.
Would you go to Exhibit I of the amended application of December 26, 2018? And keep company Exhibit 1E available as well while we're looking at Exhibit I.
Mr. Van Clay, if you can give me the date of the study that you're referencing. And Exhibit I.
December 2018. And as I said, it's included in Exhibit I of the amended application of December 26, 2018. While you're up there, you should also pull out the amended application narrative. I'll be asking questions about that in a little bit. unredacted, or the clean version.
Mr. Van Clay, if you can give me some of the details of the cover sheet, the exhibit that you're referencing here.
Yeah, if it's okay with the bench, I'll just show you. Can I show him this exhibit? What I'm looking for? This is how the cover page looks. Appears to be the same. Does it make sense to go into? Second one. The one exhibit I, and then get a little bit on basketball. I think we're ready to go back.
Okay, so before we proceed, the court reporter has indicated that we just need to do a better job of identifying what documents we're referring to for the records, because she does have to go find them, if we're not clear enough. So for purposes of this, can you let us know what you're looking at? And the date, the exact date, not just December 2018, the exact date from the docket. I think that would be helpful.
And just you can tie it to a specific exhibit that's.
The document that we're going to be looking at here is labeled as Exhibit I, Shadow Flicker Report. It's from the amended application of December 26, 2018.
Which has been marked as applicant exhibit number.
No. 1C perhaps?
I think it's 1C.
The report in Exhibit I has the date of December 2018 on it. It does not say what the day of December is.
Right, but it was filed on the docket December 26, 2018.
Yes. Okay, so does everybody have this document so that I can proceed? I think the witness does.
One more second.
Okay?
All right, you have Exhibit I in front of you. Look at page 1. It is not the first page of Exhibit I, but the page that has the number of 1 at the bottom. And on top, it is it starts with 1.0 project overview. Do you have that page?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Just to clarify, that's exhibit 1-I, correct?
I believe. All right, so looking at the second paragraph on this page, you see that it says that the proposed wind turbine for this project is the Vestas 150.
I see a footnote at the end of that sentence to qualify that statement. Footnote 2, down at the bottom, which is referenced at the end of that sentence, quote, "There are 3 turbine models under consideration for the project. The 4.2 megawatt Vestas V150, the 4.5 megawatt Siemens Gamesa Siemens SG 145, and the 4.5 Nordex N149. Of these, the V150 has the largest rotor diameter, making it the appropriate model to use for this analysis."
Yeah. So the shadow flicker analysis in Exhibit I was performed only on the Vestas V150, correct?
For the reason you just outlined, that's correct.
Okay. But going back to page 1 of Company Exhibit 1E, Table 1 states that...
Give me just 1 minute.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Table 1 states that the Nordex N149 is taller than the Vestas V150, correct?
Yes. And so the reason I had answered with a general understanding is that I would defer to this report itself, which does state, or seem to state, that the rotor diameter of the V150 would be the largest impact as far as those things considered in determining which turbine model to reference in this shadow flicker model.
Are you aware of any rationale for that assumption?
Generally aware of the study. I would defer to the language in this study to describe the rationale.
Well, do you know why the Vestas 150 or V150 was considered to be the worst case scenario instead of the Nordex N149 that is taller?
As a stated previously, quoting footnote 2 on this, on page 1 of exhibit I, is that what we're referencing, for the sound report, or sorry, for the shadow flicker report. The V150 has the largest rotor diameter, and that appears to be why it was selected.
While we're still in company exhibit 1E, would you go to figure 1 and figure 2 of that document? And I don't think there are numbered pages.
I'm sorry, which figures?
Figures 1 and 2 of the shadow flicker analysis in company exhibit 1E. So you'll find it right after page 7 of the shadow flicker report. The next page is a nameplate for figures, and then there's figure 1 after that. We'll just start with figure 1.
Okay.
All right, now keep your finger there and go back to exhibit I from the application of December 26, 2018. And find figure 2 of that document. Which again is right after the text. The last page of the text is on page 17, and you'll see a name plate for figures, and then you go to figure 2. And tell me when you find the figures.
I believe I've got those.
Okay, so with regard to company exhibit 1E, figure 1,